Connell. It's a 60. So that's the replacement one, and it means we're going to have to jack the Alright, today it's Monday, the start of the week, and I've got the flail mower on again, and we're going to be doing this all day. It's the job we're doing. We are away, right, get with this done. Got my auxiliary put on the joystick now, it works much better. Worked out the other day, took the front loader off, programmed the joystick for the flail mower, works really well. So we'll be doing this all day this morning anyway, and all this afternoon, and then I was hoping at some point to go and look at the new hedge cutter. So before it's PDI, just have a little look at it. Quite nicely, to be fair. As you can see, we've got the sheep over there, we've got some ewe lambs, and we've got the ewes. So they've gone back together now, ready for lambing next year. So they'll be lambing in February, March time, late Feb, early March. They'll be back at the farm, which will be end of October, like these will be coming home. So I won't let the dogs out on them yet, I'm just checking them today, and they're tightening down the silage fields from where I cut it with the 6R150 and the Chrome mower. So that's what we're up to today. I've got the cows to go and check now as well, and then we will be looking at the water tanker, because that will be coming home very soon as well. So it's sort of winding up here really at the marshes this year. We come to the end of the season now, we're into September, October, and before long the grass will start to run out of steam down here. So they'll be home soon, cows. Tucked your sheds out, just about to start bedding them down again, and they'll be back for winter. Alright, today it's Wednesday and I'm on the way to Tuckwell's to go and get some parts for the 6930, because the front axle, the TLS bushing has cracked, and also there's a broken mirror and there's a broken front right indicator. I need to buy new housing for that. And also whilst I'm down there, I'm hoping to have a look at the hedge cutter, which we've just agreed to buy. So that will be in the dealership yard today, so I might be able to have a look at that. And then it will be booked in so that I can fit it to one of the tractors. It can go either on the 6930 or on the 6R. It should be in at the yard today, so you might see it. Alright, so here's the hedge cutter. It's a Connell. It's a 6065 VFR. Sorry about the wind, but it goes on a 3-point linkage. There she is. So just waiting for the tractor to come down to be fitted onto it, and looks alright. Alright, so when I was down at Tuckwell's, I got some parts for the 6.9. This is a front bushing, which unfortunately the TLS bearing or bushing, whatever you want to call it, on the front has cracked. So that's the replacement one, and it means we're going to have to jack the axle up, and I believe you have to jack part of the chassis up to disconnect the two as well. But anyway, that has got to come out, that hydraulic ram. This will then twist onto this part of the hydraulic ram, and then this pin's got to be knocked out of here. Got a new pin in that bag because the old pin might have worn, so they reckon you can either put a new pin on or keep that as a spare. And then actually I've just realised one of these hoses is blown. It's not an O-ring, we changed the O-ring, but it needs a new hose. And then I ordered as well a new wing mirror, because unfortunately my wing mirror is broken. Isn't that right, 6'9"? Your wing mirror, when you set it to a setting, you drive down the road, the wing mirror just goes all over the place, and then it'll go back to the cab, and then you can't see what you're doing. So with the hedge cutter, I'm thinking of putting the hedge cutter on this tractor actually. That wing mirror needs to be good for when cars are coming past. And then another problem I've got on this tractor at the moment is one of the indicators isn't working. It's this right hand one here. Inside here, basically, there's like a circuit board which is broken. You can see the bulbs falling out of it already. It's always going wrong. So that indicator housing, I've ordered a replacement one. It's the only way around it, unfortunately. You do just have to buy new parts nowadays. You can't fix the old parts, probably like you could on the old tractors. Then this tractor will be in good working order. It will have everything replaced. I've got to order a new hydraulic hose, and I've been thinking about which tractor to put the hedge cutter on, and actually I might put it on the 6'9", because that's absolutely chucking it down this afternoon. I might put it on the 6'9" because these doors, if they break, they're a little bit cheaper than the 6R doors. I know you've got the pillar on there which will impair your visibility, but I was thinking about it on the way home, and you might be better off with this hedge cutter on the 6'9", because we want a good reliable tractor, the 6R, on cattle cart to cart all the cattle home this winter. So that might be a better thing to do, would be to put this on the hedge cutter, which means they don't have to go down to Tuckwell's on Friday to have the hedge cutter fitted, the McConnell 67 series from Tuckwell's. So that's going on the back. Command arm will be fitted for the hedge cutter. All these bits will be repaired and fitted in due course, and then we'll be able to go hedge cutting with this tractor, and then the 6R will be carting cattle. So that's sort of how it's going to work. All right, today it's Thursday, so we're nearly at the end of the week, and I'm on the flail mower today, so I'm flailing near the lake on the farm. That's what I'm up to. And we've had plenty of rain yesterday. I finished off carting some muck, so all the muck's now being carted. You see at the moment, I've got the flail mower on, and I'm just tidying these bits up. So really, it'll be quite handy to get the hedge cutter in here to do these deeper bits, the gullies, the dikes, all the bits I can't reach with the flail mower, I'll be able to reach with the hedge cutter hopefully. So we're doing this up until about October time with the flail mower, and then that's when the hedge cutter can really take over in October, November, December time. January right through Christmas, February, and then March time I'd say. And then before long we'll be ploughing, drilling, that time of the year, in spring, putting the spring crops in. Of course there's carding with the cattle before that, and muck spreading in February time as well. So, and then after that, silage. So just getting all the jobs organised throughout the year really, and keeping the machines busy. So this is all going to have to be sprayed off before long with a boom sprayer. The clamp which is getting ready for the fodder beet, which will be harvested soon. Unfortunately the deer have been eating the fodder beet really badly this year, so we will have to try and keep them off if we can with the rope bangers. I managed to get some the other day online, so, and we'll see if we can finish doing this wall. So the wall is really, it was going to be made out of concrete blocks, but I haven't got them yet from Concrete, the company Lewis Concrete. We were going to buy some Heston bales, but they were a bit expensive in the end, and we decided to put the money towards permanent blocks rather than Heston straw bales. So it's another year doing it the way we've always done it, with round bales, and then it'll just be enough hopefully to keep the fodder beet in the clamp, in the concrete area where it normally goes. So next year it'll be a little bit different with the portable Lego blocks. If you've got any suggestions on how we could change the storage for the fodder beet, do let me know. Concrete walls are sort of the best solution which I've come up with, so that's what we'll hopefully invest in for next year, which will be 2024, which will hopefully go quite nicely with the new shed. So just really getting ready for Mr. Stent when he turns up and harvests the sugar beet, the fodder beet, sugar for the sugar mill, and fodder beet for feeding the cattle. So it's a good cost-effective crop which we've grown for the last 15 odd years on the farm. Suits the light sandy soil, problem. So I'm in the Manitou at the moment. We've finished mucking out all the sheds. We can do with a good wash off now, the Manitou. Unfortunately, the bonnet's got a hole in it. I've got the new bonnet to go on. It's another list on the job, so I've got a tractor mechanic who's a friend of ours coming next week who'll help us to put the bonnet on. You've got to bang some rivets out, and you really want two people to hold the bonnet up when you put the rivets in, so I'm hoping he'll give us a hand to do that. And then we're going to need all the bits putting on the 6930. The TLS suspension is going to be a bit of a job. That's really going to be a morning's worth of work, I'd say, to try and sort that out. And then we'll just pop the mirror on as well. I ideally put the mirror on last night, but doing that job on your own is a bit of a hassle because you've got to hold the handlebar and the light from the LED beacon. So I thought we'll do it all in one hit, get the machinery all repaired next week, so that 6.9 can go on the hedge cutter, and then this can be gotten ready to go on the fodder beat bucket and cleaning duties over the winter months. So it should work pretty well if all goes well, but of course every year's different and you never know what's around the corner sometimes with machinery when it breaks down, when things go wrong. But generally the machinery is kept up to date to some degree, so it doesn't do too badly. So this is coming up to nearly 3,000 hours, which is nothing really, so keep this going for another few thousand hours hopefully yet. Although there was a new Manitou I was looking at for next year, which is the 741 Vario Plus with the CVT. So we'll see at Lama. I will be going to Lama. I'll be on the Polaris stand and the Manitou stand as well. So do come and say hello. We'll have a good laugh, have a bit of fun, have a cup of coffee or tea, whatever you like. And I think it'll be a good show. It'll be a good day out. Alright, so I'm in the shed now, and this is the package I received from France, from Manitou, St Herblain, Telehandlers standing, TNS. It's come all the way from France anyway. So this can now go on. Really have bought it to keep the Manitou tidy, but I saved up to do it. Should come off, so that's what the bonnet looks like, the new one. Unfortunately, I haven't got any decals on it. I might have to, if I'm bothered about that sort of thing, put some new decals on it to tidy it up a little bit. It's not looking too bad. Yeah, I'll put the decals on. It's just come straight from the factory, you see, so hasn't got any stickers or anything on it at the moment. That's your hole, obviously, for your air filter to go into. So yeah, all in all, it's not looking too bad. It's actually got a new latch on there as well, so I might be able to use my old key. I'll have to get a new set of keys for the lock. But yeah, that's a new Manitou bonnet, which has got to go on the side anyway, so. This is the old bonnet, so as you can see, pretty difficult to repair. I did ask a body shop if they could repair it, but they said it was a bit too far gone and the quote would be too expensive. So in the end, I just decided I'm just going to have to replace the whole bonnet. But anyway, like I say, it's one of those things. And I'm just driving along here. We're looking at the turnips, which were planted just after harvest. So they've just started to come up now. They had a bit of fertiliser on them. They're a little bit patchy in places because I don't think they've gone through the drill very well. Really, turnips, I think we really want to broadcast them on with a small spinner, which could go on the back of the quad bike, and then you could cultivate them in beforehand. You could cultivate and then spread them in with a quad bike. But anyway, this is what we've got for this year. So not ideal, a little bit thicker sort of when you go into the middle of the field, but other than that, a little bit disappointing. So we've got some plans for next year anyway. But if you have a look here, we've just had the eruption of the turnips coming up out of the ground. So this is what's going to feed the sheep over winter. So when they come back from the marshes, they can go onto here or they can go onto the sugar beet tops, which will be from where Paul has been with the sugar beet harvester. So that'll be towards Christmas time, and they'll be grazing on here, I would imagine, by November. So really it's winter food, and we've got the lovely smell now of the brassicas coming through. So there is something here, but it just needs to be changed the way we plant the turnips, because they're a very fine seed and they just do not go through the drill very well. You need a very specific type of drill for turnips. I'd rather put them on with a fertiliser spinner or a stock sag spinner, something like that, which would go on a quad bike. So anyway, these are the fodder beet, which have done quite well this year. One of the biggest problems we have at the moment, I will just show you, absolute nightmare, is the deer. So the deer are really starting to eat away at these. They have wilted a little bit, But other than that, they're not doing too badly. Of course, the deer are running out of food now at other places, so they've clocked that there's free food here. You can just see deer droppings, you can see remnants of the fodder beet, which is a little bit of a nightmare. But as I said, I have got the bangers, a little bit patchy there in places where we had the drought, and maybe it's the drilling, maybe it's the drought, it's difficult to tell at this point. But the vegetation is all looking good. We've got plenty of root here, but just a few patches here and there. I know it's a bit of a nightmare to plant, so look at that. That is what you call deer damage. Absolute nightmare with the deer this year. Really is. I do love to see the deer, the muntjac and the water deer, don't get me wrong, but when they start decimating a crop like this, it is a little bit disappointing, and there's not a huge amount you can do other than scare them away. Speak of the devils. See, they know that it's here and they just live here at the moment. So I'm up every morning with the bangers trying to scare them off here. That's really what I'm trying to do, otherwise there won't be any food for the cattle. See here, it thickens up again, but there's a little bit patchy up there. Could be the soil type, could be to do with the seed. See, deer droppings. Another one. Oh, there's a hare. He's having a nibble too. Everything's eating it off this year, unfortunately. Look at that. That's what they're supposed to be for the cows. But anyway, get the bangers out and try and scare them off. Blimey. Damage this year is decimating. Everything's eating them. The perks of farming, eh? One of those years, unfortunately. In other news as well, the Land Rover, I've just been on the phone to someone, that is going next week. It's going away for a while. Some of the Land Rover fans out there, so the Defender's off, and it'll come back hopefully in the not too distant future. You'll see the Land Rover back on the channel, but it will be going away. Unfortunately, the rust has just taken hold of the back chassis, so it's off to be sort of sorted out, I suppose, at Black Barn Heritage. So it's going to go to the other side of London, and then it will return in hopefully better condition than it left. So that's the idea anyway. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is really now starting to feel autumnal. Starting to get colder in the mornings and evenings, and we have started to lose the leaves on the field. So a lot of the trees are now losing their leaves. Muck pile is out there, obviously, as you can see, just starting to get a little bit damp from the wet weather we've had over the last couple of weeks. So, you know, we are heading towards winter now, and hence the hedge cutter. You know, that is a good thing to be busy on this time of the year, so the McConnell can come out and maintain all of these lovely hedgerows on the farm, of course following the guidelines from Natural England as to when you're allowed to cut the hedges. So the turnips are growing, the fodder beet's growing. We'll try and maybe a different establishment technique next year. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've got any other ideas of how to establish turnips, because they're quite a tricky one, and I've heard different things. Some people put fertilizer in a spreader with the turnip seed and mix it together. Some people just use a stock sag box. But all in all, you want to make a little bit of a seed bed beforehand. Another great way we used to plant turnips was using stock sag boxes on a sprayer, and we used to apply the seed in the crop with a sprayer, and it used to work really well. But unfortunately we can't do that now because the tram lines are on 36 metre margins for the bigger sprayers, unfortunately. So that's sort of knocked that one on the head. In a way, it was better when we used to have 24 metre tram lines. But everything's getting bigger and bigger, all the machinery's getting bigger, and you know, people want bigger things, bigger toys, bigger tractors, but you know, we're pretty happy here with just the small stuff. And I know we've got 2 John Deeres. We would like to look at another second-hand one in the future, but you know, at the end of the day, whatever you've got and it does the job and you get the job done, you know, that's the most important thing. So trying to get the 6.9 fixed for next week. Land Rover's going away. We've got another piece of machinery coming next week to look out for, which will be quite fun, and then we'll be putting that stock box back on the tractor and carting the cattle back home. And the thing is, we've gotten away with the weather as well this year because it's been really sunny up until now, so we might be able to leave the cows out until sort of middle of October. It just depends on the weather, as of course is the case with a lot of these things. So the Ranger's still here. I'm using this to get around the farm, checking the cattle and the sheep every day at the moment. I just don't show everything on camera because sometimes you don't want to see the same thing all of the time. So pretty good steering lock on this as well, more or less spins on the spot. It does need, of course, a good clean, so does everything on the farm at the moment. Here's the muck pile at the moment, which I sort of started to make a bit of a mess here, and I sort of aborted mission, got out of the job, and I thought we'll cut a little bit more muck I've got in the yard when it dries up again. But of course, you know, the weather is the weather. The only thing which started to cut the ground up was the tyres on the trailer. The 6.9 tyres are fantastic, the 710 Michelins. I tell you, that tractor just floats on the land with the bigger tyres. I could really do with some flotations on that trailer, to be honest, because those skinny tyres on the back end just let that trailer down. Other than that, it's a pretty good trailer. So yeah, I cultivated some of this field. We'll finish the rest of this off when it's all been muck spread. Ideally, we'd like to invest in a plough and just plough the whole lot in and be done with it. So over winter towards Christmas, maybe we'll look at a little Lemken plough, either like I saw last week, a 4-furrow or a 5-furrow plough will be fine for what we wanted to do. And then it'll be on to the hedge cutting. See, not too bad, it's quite flat and level in other places, just a little bit wet further down, and it's just starting to go, unfortunately. So that is, of course, winter well on its way. So lucky enough, we are on quite light land here, so we do get away with things. And yeah, I just see the neighbours just started cutting their hedge. Everyone's just getting out, itching to cut those hedges, of course. And I'll be joining them this year with the McConnell, so we get that on the back of one of the tractors. And I'm hoping to have a lesson from Ben from Tuckwell's, who is a tractor expert, so he'll show me how the hedge cutting machine goes. So these bales, after we start cutting them in the winter, we use the front loader with the 6R loaded last year. And then this week as well, we finished making the Gallagher electric fence paddocks for the livestock on the farm, mainly for the horses over winter. So it means we can have some more grazing fields near the cattle sheds for the sheep. So I'll leave a link to the electric fence company in the description down below. They do sheep fencing, cattle fencing, and also horse fencing as well. Some really good stuff. And they also do solar panelled electric fences, which are powered by the sun. So you don't have to use mains electricity, which is really cost effective and quite a good solution. All right, so I'm now back in the shed, and this was the shed, I don't know if you remember, which we mucked out with the Manitou, the mini Manitou, and we also bedded it down with the Telehawk on the Manitou as well. So now it's just starting to look a little bit more like a machinery shed, I suppose you could say. I'm going to have these two machines out of here soon, the 65 and the mower, to level this ground out with a digger and put some Type 1 planings down now. I've got some screenings coming, like road planings, a bit like this sort of material, which will just fill that hole in quite nicely. Then I'm going to put some more straw where those straw bales are. The 6.9s just live in there at the moment, sort of on the outside of the shed. Got the Ranger tucked nicely in this old shed, and then I've got the 6R the other side of the shed, which I want to tuck away on the right hand side. There's a lot of scrap metal which has got to be gotten rid of. We just received this new IEE handling system, which is going to replace our old one on the farm for the sheep. It's a little bit easier to use. We've got some more ewes now, so this one will be set up next week, which I've got to put up. Nell, that's one of our dogs. The scrap metal's got to be gotten rid of. Going to clear all this up. I'm going to put some firewood boxes along that side. Then I'm going to have the 6R here, maybe the 6.930 next to it. The crone has got to be put away, so's the coon. That's all going over the other side of the shed with the baler. So we'll have the silage equipment on one side of the building. That's sort of the idea anyway. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm trying to turn it more into a tidy farm barn, which has been really difficult, especially with the livestock and the muck everywhere. I'd like to get up with the Manitou and the man cage, take those bulbs out as well, replace them with LED lights with an electrician, so it's all done properly. But all in all, just trying to tidy the place up and turn it more into a functional building rather than sort of an old cow shed, if that makes sense. So there's a couple of ideas there. If you've got any ideas, leave them in the comment section down below, and yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Keep liking, keep commenting and subscribing and all of that good stuff. And next week we'll be fixing the 6.930, which is just over here at the moment, the McConnell hedge cutter as well. We'll need to go on the back as well at some point. And I've taken it off the muck trailer at the moment. It's finished carting the muck, and we'll be moving on looking at some more machinery. The Defender's going as well. So these are the boxes I'm going to use as a wall, these firewood boxes on the front, just to tidy that up. Lovely old barn here. This is all going to be changed, hopefully, for classic tractors, and a new office for my digital marketing business, which will go in here as well. So we'll kind of have the 135s and classic tractors, a polished concrete floor, and a nice barn door to come in here to the farm office. And you'll be able to sort of come in and see us if we do some farm tours again, which I used to do pre-COVID, but I'd like to do some more in the not too distant future. So yeah, thanks for watching. Keep liking and subscribing. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday, whatever you're up to, and we'll catch you on the next one next week. click here to subscribe to the channel. And click here to watch another Olly's Farm video.